Yes, Nitiji.
Also verses 1 to 5.
Okay. सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः अर्जुन उवाच जायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजयसि केशव व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकौ वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम् श्रीभगवानुवाच लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनाम् न कर्मणामनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्म कृत् कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः
Thank you. So, chapter 3, Karma Yoga, is, I would say, a gateway to one's spiritual development, spiritual growth, to one's inner maturity, mental maturity, mental growth. Bhagavad Gita, most of us by now understand, is a knowledge which is addressing our prakrit swabhav, meaning our natural inclinations, and showing us by following those just impulsive, natural, swabhavik vritti, what is the outcome of your own mental state As you keep growing in age, as age advances, what will be the mental state of mind as age advances? Shastra Vidya is that purely flowing along with your swabhavik vritti, impulsive nature. And here I will make a little distinction. There is a swabhavik vritti that is common to all, and there is a individual swabhav. Individual swabhav is acquired by my past inclinations, my past karma, my past thinking, my past karma phala, my past exposure to right and wrong, and as Shankaracharya has said, to Shastra and Guru Vidya, to knowledge. That is my swabhav today independently, which makes you and me different. We are all different people, individualistically different. But we all have a common swabhavik nature that is common to all of us, to every prani for that matter. What is that common swabhav? Sukha prapti, dukkha nivritti. I have a ceaseless desire for endless happiness, insatiable, unbroken आनंदावस्था. हमें आनंद चाहिए, आनंद सुख चाहिए.
Dipti ji, sorry, I can't see the red dot.
You are right, I forgot. After you reminding me. Thank you. I don't know what I do. I think I switch on so many buttons that I finally forget to switch this on.
Doesn't matter. It gives us a chance to remind you.
Recording has started.
Thank you for being alert. Okay, you can see the Bhagavad Gita slide? Yeah.
Yes, we can see that.
So, the swabhav, which is natural to all of us, sukha prapti, dukkha nivritti. Ansha matra, itna bhi klesh, dukh, kasht, taklif, none of us is ready to accept it. Even klesh matra, thoda struggle, thoda dukh, thoda unhappiness, in a little measure. I've had a lot of happiness before, I'm going to have a lot of happiness later. It's a temporary state of my struggle. Not acceptable to no one. To no one is thus even a little effort acceptable. But you give me happiness now and more than an average. I have my share of happiness. I have comforts, I have relaxation, I have the means. I'm fairly a contented person, but that is not enough. I want more. ये जो स्वाभाविक वृत्तियां हैं जो कॉमन है, that there will be kama krodha lobha moha mada matsarya as a utpatti, they will arise wherever there is this sukha prapti dukkha nivritti functioning as a natural impulse. Modern society in present times, lot of experiments go on in bringing up children. How much individuality should you allow them? In the olden days, in our traditional days, even few generations, 2 generations ago also, parents had a lot of control over children. They determined, they felt they had to nurture an upbringing, which meant that the swabhavik vrittis that even a child shows, जब उसे भूख लगती है तो वो रोता ही है, रोती ही है. When it is getting a toy, it gets something, it gets affection, खुश होता ही है, होती ही है. These swabhavik vrittis, if one is to just let them be, just let them be uncontrolled. जैसे मन में आती है, let there should be freedom to express it and live like that. A child should be given a full freedom to express themselves as they want. It is exactly the same as having a pet with you who has full expression of all the impulses that the pet has initially before we train them. Now, this impulsive nature, स्वाभाविक जो common है, I'm again differentiating. Our individual nature is our acquired nature. Shastra addresses these two natures. One is that which is swabhavically common to all of us. Shastra says you have to not let it unleashed, means do not express it uncontrolled. You will have to use some restraint. You have to direct your sukha prapti, dukha nivritti outlook itself. किस चीज में मुझे सुख दिखता है, किस चीज में मुझे दुख दिखता है, एंड वो जो दुख दिखता है, am I seeing it correctly? Am I recognizing it rightly? Should I avoid it because I feel like it? That is the topic of spiritual journey as much as Bhartiya Shastra would show us. Vedas tell us, and Vedanta leads us to the ultimate end. From here, an impulsive human being who only understands the language of Sukha Prapti, Dukha Nivritti in the beginning, up to the point of this human being who's freed of all influences of this natural swabhav that overcomes us and our minds. It takes us over, and it therefore takes over our thinking and confuses us, deludes us, just as Arjuna's got deluded. Karam Yoga is that first step from where, if I am in the manner of unrestrained life, Shastra says this is Ragadvesh based. Marzi, marzi is the right word. It is just marzi based, ichha based. There is no vichar of right or wrong in the sense of ought to be done, not ought to be done, beneficial, not beneficial, shreyas or not shreyas. Will it be good for me or not good for me? No thinking goes through it. From that stage to that stage, which second chapter just concluded as Stita Prajna, a ever free state, वो जो सुख आनंद endless चाहिए, having abiding in that state, living that state, freed of all this man ke jal, freed of all this man ke waves, sukha, dukha, shanti, ashanti, labh, hani, honor, dishonor, etc., etc. That entry point, what is the bridge between this extreme point? Extreme I'm calling because that is our goal then. That is what we are seeking. Even unknowingly, we are seeking that only. That goal to be achieved. And this spectrum where I am not in control of my own wishes and desires and my own moods also. From this spectrum to this spectrum, what is the bridge? That bridge is Karam Yoga. Bhagwan has given it very clearly to Arjuna. Third chapter is describing the importance of emphasizing what is the role of karma in a human being's life. कर्मों का प्राधान्यम क्या है, कर्मों का मुख्यता क्या है, कर्म अवश्य है कि नहीं है. So most often we find that when karmas become a strain, are stressful, they exhaust us, they tire us, our natural tendency is let's give it up, छोड़ देते हैं. Question is, छोड़ के, कर्म को छोड़ के, will that extreme, that other point that I desire, will I get it? This should be clear to a person. Without the Shastra Adhyanam, it doesn't become clear. We have the impulse of giving up anything that is causing us dukh. Natural है ये हमको. जहाँ दुख मिलता है हम we want to leave it. It's naturally there. That natural tendency to drop it, what I am doing or what I should be doing, what I ought to be doing, will it take me to my what I desire, what I want? That gets addressed here. So Arjun had said, first two verses, he had said, whatever you have told me in the second chapter, I am confused a bit. I am confused. You haven't used confusing terms, but I have got confused. When you are glorifying that the direct means for that Sukha Prapti is Atma Jnana. And for Atma Jnana, Karma Tyag, Sarva Karma Sannyas, Sarva Karma Tyag is an Anga, is a subsidiary, is a, what is that called? Supplement, is a supplement. If Sarva Karma Sannyas is a prerequisite to have a qualification for Gyan, then why are you impelling me towards this ghor karma, this terrible war? Why are you telling me to perform my duty? Why are you showing to me why it will be beneficial for me? There seems to be a confusion. For me, you are saying karam karo, but obviously you are saying that direct means is ज्ञान, लेकिन तुम अभी ज्ञान मत लो, तुम अभी कर्म करो, तुम अभी वो संन्यास लेके ज्ञान के मार्ग मत चलो, तुम अभी कर्म के मार्ग में रहो. Why? Why are you giving me this advice? And this is the common point to all of us as initial adhikaris who are caught up in our own ragadvesh, in our own jiva bhav. This is direct application to us. He says there are two different maturities, inner state of freedom. एक है जो बहुत बंधा है अपने ही विचारों में, अपने ही दुख में, अपनी ही परेशानी में, अपनी ही वरीज में, अपने ही एम्बिशन में, अपने ही डिजायर्स में. One who's caught up in their own thinking, in their own mind, with their own set of desires, with their own uncertainties, etc. बहुत बंधा है, जकड़ा है अंदर. Means what? Whenever you're sitting by yourself, your mind is in a stressful mode. परेशान है. Either it's thinking of the future or it is thinking of the past. It seems to be constantly restless. There are some people who have overcome this kind of jakadan to some extent. So there are two different adhikaris. two different adhikaris, it appears to say they're two different people. But what Shastra says is very, very simple. If you find yourself not in the second category, which means I am find myself free. When I'm by myself, what is my state of mind? I know. If I find myself not in this more leisure, thinking, contemplative, vichar, मन में चलता है, vichar as in on the subtleties of life, on the truth of life, जिज्ञासा है जानने के लिए क्या है ये, क्या हूं मैं, what is life, what is, there are prashnas, questions that arise naturally. There is a jignasa, and that jignasa has nothing to do with what your present state of life or situation is. The minute you are relaxed, the quest or whatever you may have heard in passing, on television, in some satsang, those words remain in your mind and they seek your attention to understand them. You don't understand most of them, they want to be understood by you. They seek your attention. But if you're not in that stage, you yourself would know you are in that first stage, which means when I'm here, I'm thinking, what should I do tomorrow? What should I be? Why this person? Why that? What should I do? This job? Should I? All these kind of things occupy your mind. Somebody said something, and my mind is dwelling on it. It's dwelling within the indriyo ke vishay pertaining to your immediate situation. So there are very few things actually speaking as per the status of one's life. It's position, it's your relations, it's your security, money. So between artha and kama, your mind remains within that. If your mind remains preoccupied by this nature of thought, ये संसारी है मन, दुखी है, परेशान रहता है more often than not. To him he said, such a person taking the leap, jump of sitting in ज्ञानम, कर्म छोड़ के ज्ञान में बैठेगा, तो क्या हाल होगा उसका?
संसार में ही रह जाएगा, सोचता ही रह जाएगा।
अगर वो कर्म छोड़ के बैठ जाएगा, हाँ जी,
वो संसार में थॉट रहेंगे,
उसके थॉट्स, बिकॉज उसको फ्रीडम नहीं मिला ना उसमें, सो हीज माइंड तो उसी से भरा रहेगा. The mind is going to remain preoccupied even if he gives up karma. The mind is still in bondage. Therefore, Krishna says to Arjuna, your own mind today is not ready to sit in contemplation in a relaxed way. तुम्हें आत्मज्ञान दे भी देंगे तो भी क्या होगा? What will happen? It is like giving a PhD material to a 5th standard child. What will happen to a 5th standard child if you give them nuclear physics in the 5th grade? 6th grade, okay, chalo, let's grow them a little. 6th grade, and the teacher that has come is teaching them nuclear physics. Can you say this child is not eligible for that knowledge? Will you say that this child is not eligible for this knowledge, nuclear physics?
Yeah, he's not eligible. That child is not eligible.
At this point, he is not eligible. You can't say he is not eligible at all. But at this stage, he is not eligible. So, karma to be done in a shift of thought. कर्म करते रहना, कर्म को छोड़ने का जो एक impulse आता है, when things are going not according to plan. Do not fall for that. Do not take the escape route. He says these are the two different stages of your own growth. If you are at the first stage, you find your mind preoccupied by all लौकिक व्यवहारिक life. सारा टॉपिक सिर्फ लौकिक व्यवहारिक है. There's no other thought, there is no other discussion, there is no other talk, there is nobody else to talk other vishay. Such a mind, he says, stick to doing your karma with a shift in attitude. That shift in attitude, he had said, for the one who is in this kind of a mode of mind, your shift in attitude has to be first and foremost samatvam, yoga buddhi invoke karo, which means my karmas that I am now in continuity with, they should be performed for a higher purpose, higher reason. And that higher reason is, he says, yoga, युक्त होके. किससे युक्त होके? अपनी योग बुद्धि से युक्त हो. Means have the understanding that this karma is a purifier. As I'm doing the karma, I will see the rise of my ragadvesh. I will see the rise of my ahankar. I see the rise of lot of impulses, and when they will bring thoughts of various natures that I would like to act upon. Because I'm identified with the body, I purify them. I clean them. I don't act on them. I handle them. I deal with them. So he says in the fourth verse, he had said, so for Jnana, third verse, Jnana Yoga is for Sankhyas. Who are Sankhyas? The one who have Samyak Khyayate. You can have a clear knowledge of what you desire, of Atma. Samyak Khyayate means in clear manner you can know. What is the topic? Atma. ज्ञान योग उनके लिए है जिनके मन में क्लैरिटी है of what they want and what is the means for that. If I want that permanent happiness, what is the means for that? Gyan. They're clear about it. For everyone else, जिसको ये clarity नहीं है that ज्ञान योग is the means Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam is the means for Shreyas, for Moksha Gyan, for Moksha. Other than that, everyone else, Karma Yogena Yoginam. For all those who now desire to come to the path of managing yourself, freeing your mind slowly, bit by bit. You know, when there is a okay, let me give this example, very fresh. If you're making sprouts on that cloth, cheesecloth, when they are very well done, what is the state of sprouts through the cloth? Anybody?
They project out of that. They grow out of the cloth.
They grow out of the cloth. And when you have to remove them, what do? You have to remove them softly, gently.
Softly.
Because
yes.
Otherwise it'll break. So you are very careful of removing them so that the piece is complete. that gradually extracting from your mind your raga, dvesh, ahankara vrittis can only happen जब कर्म करते रहते हो. So he says that योग बुद्धि should be there. हम क्यों करना चाह रहे हैं? Why do I want to purify my mind? Why do I seek purification? At least that clarity I must have. So the connection between karma and gyan, that connection which binds it is from karma I get chitta shuddhi. And what is chitta shuddhi? Ye sub projections of raga, dvesh, ahankar, krodha, kama, krodha, all that ladder of fall, 62, 63 verse of chapter 2, I have extracted them from my vritti. जब मेरे मन में से ये निकल चुकी हैं, काफी हद तक they have loosened up, then I find automatically my mind has expanded. I find automatically my mind is now inquiring. ये growth होती है. You can't force this. You can't practice it. Let me sit every day and start thinking about. That is why for a lot of people, meditation doesn't work. Vedantic meditation doesn't work. Why? Because mind is full of ragadvesh. कर्म योग से जब वो फ्री हो रहा है, माइंड राग द्वेष एक्सट्रैक्ट हो गया है, अहंकार एक्सट्रैक्ट हो गया है, now the mind will be able to have the availability, it will be free to ponder. So he says, Krishna says, clarifying it now, na karmana manarambhat. न कर्मणाम अनारंभात न अश्नुते न अश्नुते नहीं मिलता. Oh, I think we did this before. नहीं मिलता. क्या नहीं मिलता? किसको नहीं मिलता? पुरुषः. एक इंसान को नहीं मिलेगा. क्या नहीं मिलेगा? अश्नुते means नहीं मिलेगा, नहीं पहुंचोगे. Means from this spectrum that you are today caught up as a samsari, you want to go to the other extreme, other side of the river. You want to cross the other side of the river where there is nothing but shanti, atma shanti. ये नहीं मिलेगी आत्मा शांति. किसको नहीं मिलेगी? किसी को नहीं, पुरुष को नहीं मिलेगी. कैसे नहीं मिलेगी? What is that avastha? The other side of the river. What is that avastha? Naishkarmyam siddhi. What is that naishkarmyam? Nishkamata. What is nishkamata? It is the state where you are free of all push from within for karma. करना है, बनना है, चाहिए. That first stage that we started with today, that first stage of the mind, where it is restless, व्याकुल, बैठता नहीं है, शरीर के साथ जुड़ा हुआ है. And because of that, mind is feeling a sense of want. It is constantly pushed as if कुछ करना है, कुछ करना है, कुछ बनना है, कुछ चाहिए. It's like all the time in the background. So he says here, that avastha, naishkarmyam, that is only when you know the avastha of nishkamata. Naishkarmyam, Shankara gives beautiful meaning. Nishkarma bhavam means it's a bhavarup. That's a little grammatical. What does it mean? Karma shunyatam. Karma shunyatam means free of कर्म करने की अवस्था. निष्कर्म भाव मीन्स रहना कर्म किए बिना. उस स्थिति को, that state, कर्म शून्यताम is equivalent to saying there is no karma necessity there. There is no karma necessity automatically implies there is no karta there. Which means what? Naishkarmya bhav automatically comes to saying that it is Atma Sthiti, Akarta Atma, when you know that. So, freedom from any doingness. Most of us can't even imagine this today. Freedom of doingness. That avastha is nishkarma bhav. Nahi milta. You don't get it. Who doesn't get it? That purushaha, wo purush. Karmana anarambhat. Anarambhat, Shankara gives the meaning aprarambhat. Prarambh ही नहीं करता कर्म. So in this avastha, my mind is restless. It's saying I need to do something. I need to get a better status for myself. I need to earn more money. I want to enjoy more privileges. When I look at other people, I feel I have a lack. When I look at their beautiful homes and cars and having all the material prosperity, I really wish I also have it. And I desire it. I also want it. And I feel the want of it, I feel the lack of it, I feel the pinch of not having it. अच्छा तो होता कि है, but I may reconcile and say it's okay if I don't have it, but अच्छा तो होता कि है. If these are my quote unquote words, then if I do nothing about this, aprarambhat, प्रारंभ ही नहीं करना कर्म को, towards what I want, means I take no work initiative. I don't want to start. I don't want to do. Those karmas. Which karmas? He says, Kriyanam. Shankara says, Yajnadinam. Those karmas that will help you get Chitta Shuddhi. Yajna Adi means Vaidika karma, Alaukik karma. But also Smriti karma, as we saw in the other context. Parokkaraya Punyaya, which help other people, which will give me some punyam at least, and that punyam can bring me to Chitta Shuddhi in time. But I am not taking any initiative from my side to engage myself in karmas that can help in my Chitta Shuddhi. What karmas? He says, whether you have done them iha janmani, in this lifetime if you are doing, va janmantare, or in any lifetime. Anushthithanam means you have abided in karam yoga. Now in this life or in any life in the past. But you have done those. But those who have not done, anarambhat, aprarambhat, kabhi kiya hi nahi hai. So what will happen? Upata duritta kshaya hetutvena sattva shuddhi karananam. These karmas which are sattva shuddhi, chitta shuddhi is also called sattva shuddhi. Hetu for sattva shuddhi. उसका कारण है ये. What did they do? Upata durata kshaya hetu. They become the hetu, reason, the cause. For what? Durita. Durita means all that was papa karma. In other words, what is not to be done? Durita. Inauspicious. Unwanted collection. Upata. अपने वो कर्म आपने किए जो निषिद्ध थे, which were prohibited, which you just acted on raga dvesh, which you have collected today, and they are now a collection. उपात इकट्ठे हो गए हैं. So that anarambhat, if you have done nothing about them, they are there. And these yajnadinams, karmas that were supposed to be done, which would have become the hetu of the shaya. Shaya means destroying. Destroy the collected durita, collected all unwanted karma phala, which are becoming obstacles to my peace and happiness. Whether I have collected it in this lifetime or in a past lifetime. But those karma phalas which have now become obstacles to my happiness, I have not done the karmas, anarambhat, as a result of which jnana utpatti dvarena jnana nishtha hetuna, that chitta shuddhi will become the dwar for jnana utpatti and then jnana nishtha. So karmana arambhat, let's reverse it. कर्मणा आरंभात, कर्मों को करके. कौन से कर्म? Are we all together so far? You can nod your head.
Yes, Dipti.
No.
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. No. Okay. I'll repeat this. One of you
Yes,
has said.
Deepti.
Okay, great. One of you has said no, so I'll repeat it. The verse is saying, Moolam verse, this first line is saying that if a person does not even initiate karmas, he will not get Naishkarmya Siddhi. Naishkarmya. Naishkarmya means a state of freedom from the cycle of karma. So far, okay? That explanation is now in the Bhashyam.
It's actually very contradictory because on the other line he says you have to do karmas.
Exactly.
One side he's saying don't do.
No, he's not saying don't do. Those who are not doing karmas,
not doing. Yes.
Those who are not doing are not going to be eligible. That's what he's saying. Aram bhi nahi kar raha koi. Not doing only. So now what is that?
Teach me what about rag and dvesh? Sorry,
I'll
but
just come
if
to
someone
that.
is asking,
I'll come to that. Let me complete this. Someone's not clear, so I'm just repeating myself first. So Bhashyam is now explaining to us. Karmana anarambhat means aprarambhat. Prarambh nahi kar rahe. You're not beginning karmas. What nature of karma? Those karmas that were to help you in Chitta Shuddhi. What are those karmas? He gives an example. Yajna Adi, Yajna Dana Tapas. He's quoted here, or somewhere he's quoted Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. I think later on he quotes. There is an Upanishad quotation. Yajna Dana Tapas, even in Bhagavad Gita it will come. These are broad categories of karmas that help you to purify yourself, which we are calling as Vaidika karma, Alaukik karma. Or you can do Smriti karma. Those karmas that are helping others at least, that will give you punyam, and that punyam can in time bring you to Chitta Shuddhi. So far, okay? Aditi? So these karmas, whether you are doing now or you are doing in some other, you've done them in the past. These karmas would have destroyed Shaya. They would destroy your Upata Durita, collected Durita karma. Durita karma means those karmas which are bringing contrary results, inauspicious results, wrong results, Papa karma. The karmas that are bringing strain, the karmas that have the karma phala which is bringing obstacles, uh, difficulties, stresses of life, situations, those karma phala. So, not doing these karmas, which will bring destruction of the durita, by destruction of the durita, what would have happened? Sattva Shuddhi. Your mind would have got purified, and that would have tat karanat, that would have become jnana utpatti dwara, the doorway for gyan, knowledge, and that would have become the reason for jnana nishtha, establish in atma gyan. Okay, now better. So in other words, जो कर्म शुरू ही नहीं करेगा उसकी चित्त शुद्धि कैसे होएगी? सिंपल लैंग्वेज, कर्म के माध्यम से ही चित्त शुद्ध होगी. सो जो कर्म ही नहीं कर रहा उसकी चित्त शुद्धि कैसे होगी? What is स्वाभाविक nature? Raga, Dvesha, etc. Yes, Divya, now your question, because it seems to be in context.
So, Deepti, a person who doesn't do karma versus a person who doesn't do karma to even achieve rag and dvesh, right? Are they in the same category?
Yeah. Who doesn't do karma at all. Here he is talking about that. And also who then doesn't do karma at all for his chitta shuddhi. Means कर्म योग नहीं कर रहा. So जो सकाम कर्म के लिए भी कर्म नहीं करता है, who doesn't even put in the effort to fulfill their own desires. They don't even work hard for that. They don't work towards that, towards the fulfillment of the desire. And they hope.
Both states are not good, right?
No.
Deepti, whether you
No.
do it for your desire or...
Say that again? Sorry, I may have.
Both the states are wrong, right? Both the states are wrong.
Yeah. Both the states are not desirable. You can't say them they're wrong. They're not desirable. They're not desirable for what? For your own shanti. So, because the whole prakaranam anyway is karma yoga. So, by not doing karmas, you are not going to get any shanti. And also, nacha sanyasanat eva. By merely giving up what you have started, just chhod ke, just leaving it, you will not get your ashnuti. You will not get your shanti. Here, Madhusudan explains it well. And he says, if you take sannyas, means just change of avastha. I call that as, okay, Shastra calls it as external change of lifestyle. Internally, you still have a value for the world, for desires, for better living, situations. Internally, you still have desires. It could be different nature of desires, may not be exactly like I want to become the CEO of a company, but you may have camouflage desires. You may want following, you may want fame, you may want some other nature of desire. But internally, you have a desire. And for that, you take to this kind of a life. Sanyasanat eva. Your mind is full of those desires, but chitta shuddhim vina. Without chitta shuddhi, if you take sannyasa. Sanyasanat eva chitta shuddhim vina. Without chitta shuddhi, if you take sannyasa. Kritat siddhim jnana nishtha lakshanam सम्यक् फल पर्यवसायत्वेन anadhigacchati. You will not get the phalam of moksha, simple words, because this is the important line. कर्मजन्याम कर्मों से जनित, कर्मों से ही उत्पत्ति, चित्त शुद्धिम अंतरेण. When chitta shuddhi has come, born from karmas, means because of karam yog, chitta shuddhi is there. Sannyasa eva na sambhavati. Without chitta shuddhi, sannyasa is not even possible. Okay? So, what does he say? He says, two situations in our impulsive nature. I'm coming back to the first point where we started the class. Swabhavik, what is common to all of us? We will have an impulse of just not doing because it's too tiresome, it is too burdensome. So many people do not take a career option in life. Why? Because it's strenuous. Parampara, this family wealth, so it's okay. They don't have the pressure of survival. They don't have the pressure to put themselves into work field. They take a laid back life. They live a laid back life because things are fairly by whatever past is available to them in a non-challenging state of life. So they never take to work at all. That's one category. The other category is what Arjuna was now trying to show, that the minute there is difficulty that comes in front, a difficult situation, an obstacle, you want to give up what you've started. Chhod dena hai usko. And that chodna is what Shastra, Bhagwan is warning us all. He's advising us that if there is ever a desire कि मुझे छोड़ना है, then look backwards. Is karma your means for purification or not? Are you in a sthiti of established chitta shuddhi so that your manas vritti, your mental state of mind, is shant and peaceful? And you can dwell on the knowledge. What you're receiving, you're holding. Tikta hai andar. For them, it is all right to move forward into sannyas. So, sanyasanat eva siddhim samadhigacchati. Such people will not get siddhim, final state of Gyanishtha, that other side, Shanti, Manki. You will not get that. Is this okay? So, Naishkarmyam is a Atmavastha. Sitting with your Atmavastha, which is source of your Anandam, Shanti, You cannot sit in Atma Avastha without even initiating Chitta Shuddhi. For Chitta Shuddhi, you need karma, specific kind of karmas. Why Vedic karmas are direct means for Chitta Shuddhi? Because Ishwar Arpanam is very easy. It's automatic, inherent in it. How is it inherent? Supposing, say it was Shivratri, and you do, if you are initiating a karma, like what? Some japa or some puja, some abhishekam, whatever, mental, physical, oral, कोई भी कर्म. कर्म का ऑब्जेक्ट कौन है? किस पे सेंटर हो रहा है कर्म? Say it's a Shivratri day. What is the object of that karam? To whom is that karam?
For
Who is it
Your
for?
arpan, giving arpan to the Lord Shiva.
It is और see आपका कर्म है ही शिवा के लिए. मतलब it is you're doing it there. It's for that. तो वो अर्पण बुद्धि is indirectly established in the very karma Vaidika and these religious karmas. Am I making? अपने आप आती है ना. For people who keep asking how arpan buddhi. Best thing is for a few weeks to few months, every day, if you just at a particular time just keep doing these, some form of any form that is convenient to you, that is your ishtam, that is to your liking. Your liking is allowed, whatever you connect to. At that point, if you just go on doing the karma, just doing it, if it's Surya, you're just doing argyam. Kuch nahi aur karna aapko. It's your physical body. If you have the mantras, you chant the mantras. If you don't even have the mantras, you are just saying thank you. You're just saying, okay, dhanyavad. You're just acknowledging the glory of sun. If you even do this much in the entire karma, even if it is, say, 3 minutes, within that 3 minutes, what is your karta, what is your karma, and what is the object of your karma? Can you break them? In that 3 minutes, are you getting confused? Anybody?
yes, Diti.
You're getting confused?
Karta
Haan.
would be me, right?
See, within
So
that,
that's how it pervades into your daily life. That's how it pervades into your daily life.
Absolutely. See, I'll tell
So
you.
every karam becomes like that.
And that will be the 4th chapter of the Gita.
Okay.
All the yagnas over there in that sense. Now I'm breaking it up. 3 minutes, say you do your Gayatri mantra. 3 minutes. Okay, or your Surya offering. Surya Namaskar, Surya offering. Or Shiva Stotram, Aditya Hridayam, or just simply Ram Nam. Any mantra. Now, when you are doing that, say it takes 3 minutes, only 3 minutes. Now, observe the starting of your action, observe the ending of that action. उस 3 मिनट के आपका engagement. You are the karta, no doubt. But is the bhav there? मैं कर रही हूँ? Is it dominant? Is it primary? Versus if you have been busy, if you're going for a work somewhere and you keep on doing and your boss just turns back and keeps and or with your partner or somewhere like that, and you just say, I am the only one who's always doing it. You can see the difference of karta, accent on the karta. जब मुझे लगता है कि मैं ही कर रही हूँ, and in that 3 minutes, Where was the attention? On the object of your alaukik karam. I'm taking the example of Surya. If it is Surya, Bhagwan, there, what has happened? In those 3 minutes, the karta here is not mukhyam. Not only it is not mukhyam, the object आपके मन में क्या है? वो जो इंद्रियों का गोलक दिख रहा है, सूर्य दिख रहा है, भगवान तो नहीं दिख रहा. आपके इंद्रियों को सूर्य भगवान तो नहीं दिख रहा, सूर्य दिख रहा है. So what is your action centered on? The invisible principle, as if that you are superimposing, deliberately imposing on that globe of ball of fire, which is nothing but chemical reactions if your brain has only chemistry in it. It's only fed with helium and neon and all that. आपके मन में वही thoughts हैं, तो you will only see that disk as storehouse of fire. But in that storehouse of fire, you are now imposing what? You've imposed a Bhagwan there. अब ये क्या हो गया? भगवान दिख तो नहीं रहा, लेकिन आप देख रहे हो वहां. आपका वो देखना वहां पे, उस पे. Is it imagination? Is it unscientific? Is it illogical? Is it a myth? No, it is the principle invisible to your senses but operational, which you are recognizing, your buddhi recognizes. To that your karma is offered. Offered bhi kya hai? It's an English word. आप कर रहे हो ना. So when you do that, offering is automatically learned. You automatically learn how to offer. And that deliberation that a person has to learn, you have to learn. That learning is what is bringing Arpan Buddhi, Prasad Buddhi, the components of Karam Yoga, and importantly, it is indirectly teaching us that once it is learned, as just now said, you can do it in any action. So, what was the helpful aid of that religious? Why is it so necessary to have temples and deities? They are not without, they are not just whims. They are not imaginations of rishis. They are not, they are not backward thinking. Then that's not ancient, uncivilized thought process. It is too civilized for us to understand. There is a technique there. There is a huge grace upon human beings. Vedic karmas is a grace upon human beings. Why? Because they automatically, indirectly introduce Chitta Shuddhi by teaching you Arpan Buddhi and Prasad Buddhi. The same can be done once you have learned this nuance of how to do Arpan Buddhi. Once it is learned, you can very easily convert it into anything. You know, in the Shastra, in the Smritis, you say, Matra Deva Bhava, Pitra Deva Bhava, Acharya Deva Bhava, Atithi Deva Bhava. What is that? On anyone, once you have the Arpan Buddhi, your mother can be your God, your father can be your God, your Acharya is your God, your Atithi is your God. Anyone and anywhere it can be done. And the whole, it's a joyful day of Arpan in any karma. So he says, कर्मास are necessary for चित्त शुद्धि. उसके बिना नहीं होगी. I will keep repeating this till you get fed up of listening, probably sometimes. The word is anushthit, anushthithanam, अनुष्ठान करना. कर्मों का कर्म योग द्वारा अनुष्ठान करना. अनुष्ठान means practicing it, living it, doing it. What is that which is being done? This arpan buddhi, this prasad buddhi that gets learned in the process. And how will it help? Duritta shaya hetu. It'll help to destroy all the duritta karmas that are becoming an obstacle to your own progress, spiritual progress. And you're not even looking at it. What will it give you? Sattva shuddhi, antakarana shuddhi. So far, we are all together. So, karmas, in other words, is absolutely essential. Essential to start the process. Nobody should have a confusion on this regard. That should I be eligible for karma? Am I eligible for sannyas? If anybody has a doubt, people ask, how do I know whether I have chitta shuddhi or not? We were taught by our teachers. If someone asks you, how do I know whether I have chitta shuddhi or not? So we were taught. What is your answer? If you're asking, if you have a doubt,
Sit alone. Sit
You-
alone and see where your thoughts go.
it is not. If you have a doubt, it is not. Because chitta shuddhi is a state of knowledge. आपको पता है. You know it. How do you know it? Every time Shastra gives you those indicators, you can recognize them. You have done the work of purification. You know you have done the work of purification. So whoever says, do I have eligibility for sannyas? Why is Krishna telling Arjun, you are not qualified for sannyas? Because right on the battlefield, what is he showing? He's not showing a state of samatvam, कर्म योग दृष्टि से कर्म करता हुआ व्यक्ति. He's showing different symptoms, samsari symptoms. Therefore, Krishna says it is in your interest, आपके कल्याण के लिए. While it is right that sannyas you will take an entry tomorrow when your chitta shuddhi gets done. But right now, where you stand, you are not eligible for that state of a contemplative life. Because you're not ready, not only contemplative life, it has lots more into it. Therefore, karma yoga. And then he supports it further. There are some very, Shankara still continues to give a little more on Sarva Karma Sannyas. We'll do it whenever we do separate portion. He's completing the negation of Sarva Karma Sannyas. And yes, there was a question that was asked. Sarva Karma Sannyas means what? Because we have said Sarva Karma Sannyas preceding sannyas makes you eligible for it. So what is Sarva Karma Sannyas? He says for ज्ञान निष्ठ, जो ज्ञान में निष्ठ हो चुके हैं, for them Sarva Karma Sannyas is prescribed. Who should give up karma? Who should take to sannyas? There are two people who can take to sannyas. One who wants to now, who has chitta shuddhi, he's just told us here, who has chitta shuddhi and can spend the life in study and contemplation. And then later on for loka sangraha can be engaged in. they are ready for sannyas. The other actual sarva karma, naishkarmyam ki avastha. Who has naishkarmya sthiti? Who's ready for it? Gyan karma samuchaya khandan that Shankara does means ज्ञान निष्ठा वाले को कर्म की अब आवश्यकता नहीं है. Whereas in his time, there were two very strong society had popular followings of two outlooks. What is a popular outlook in the present society? You understand the question? What is a popular outlook in present society?
This is with regard to retirement, TPG, like you retire after a certain period of time.
Okay, no, not that. Outlook means what should you live your life for? जिंदगी में क्या जरूरी है, जिंदगी में क्या मुख्य है, जिंदगी किस चीज के लिए कर, चार वाक. Correct. चार वाक means pleasure, money, material. Everybody is working for that. That's a popular behavior, materialist, right? It's a popular accepted norm in society today. If I say I have a class in the evening and some relatives or friends want to come over, and I say I have a class, they get hurt. Why? Because can't you postpone the class? But if they have a meeting somewhere for some project and we have to meet, and I say, can't you postpone your meeting? Do you see the difference? What is important? Meeting is important.
Material gain.
That is important. So to them, it's why is this not postponable? So Hamesha, every time you say you can't, you can't, you can't. Why? This is compromisable for them. They won't even bat an eyelid to say that you can cancel it. No, kyo karna? Why are you so engaged in this? But if there is even if there is a holiday, a family trip, or a marriage, or even that is so important. So, what is the norm in the society which is accepted? Acceptable is enjoy, work to enjoy, and that's it. Have enough as much as you can acquire, etc. This is acceptable. But when in Shankara's time, when materialism was still not powerful, so powerful, there were less people who were attracted to that lifestyle. More people were still attracted to spiritual evolution of their own being. ज्यादा लोग इस तरफ प्रवृत्त होते थे. किस तरफ? आध्यात्मिक गति के लिए. The society had more people engaged in their own spiritual welfare. At that time, there were two very strong proponents of two methods of evolution for your own self. One was Buddhism. In Buddhism, Vedas they didn't accept. So it was clearly a different path. Not accepting Vedas meant, but they would say, okay, through knowledge you get liberation, and there are as many people, so many atmas, kinds. But Buddhism was very prevalent at that time. And the second such path that was famous or attracting people towards its own self is Jnana Karma Samuchaya. They accepted Veda. And they said Vedas are saying karmas have to be done throughout your life, irrespective of your sthiti of knowledge. ज्ञान की स्थिति आपकी होने के बावजूद, even after ज्ञान निष्ठा, you have to continue doing karma. That is jnana karma samuchaya. So Shankaracharya, you find in his bhashyams, refuting these both schools very strongly, countering it through proper logic to establish what we are now studying, which is relevant now. What is it? He never says karma is not important. To dismiss Samuchayavadi, he doesn't say karma is not useful. Karma is useful, but for karma yoga, for karma, for chitta shuddhi. And from that, so this krama samuchaya is accepted. Same me today, ragadveshi jivan. Same me will put my nishtha, ek nishchayatmika buddhi I take. I say I will take to all my karmas are now as much as I can. There is nothing like too many karmas to be done and every karma to be done. No. Whatever to my capacity, whatever to my understanding, whichever, even if it's one karma, even if it is just one, even if I get established in, if I cook for my family for the rest of my months and days and years, till I'm established in that Arpan Buddhi, Prasad Buddhi, every meal I cook, I make sure that this is done as an offering, as a prayer, as a puja, as a worship. If I do that, I'm still in Chitta Shuddhi. So he says, this Samuchaya, Gyan Nishtha ke baad Shankara says you don't need, you're free of karma. Jivan Mukta Avastha mein Atma is akarta, so you don't need karma. Whereas if you follow the other school of thinking, it is prevalent in the society. Materialism is prevalent. It's a choice I have. I can take to that life. I can take to this life. Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. It's your wish what you get attracted to, what you follow. So that samuchaya you see in a lot of these verses, but in another context, sometimes separately we can take them as required. In the continuity of this, now, he says in the 5th verse, reason he gives. Huh. Shankara gives the connection between the two verses. Kasmat punaha karanat. Kasmat, for what reason? Again, karanat, reason. Kasmat, for what? What is that reason? Karma sannyasa matrat eva kevalat. Only through karma sannyasa matra. Kevala karma sannyasa matra. Kevala jnana rahitat. Siddhim naishkarmya lakshanam purusha na adhikachati. How is it that a person who, without chitta shuddhi, just by merely giving up action, just by not taking up action, what he said in the previous verse, why will that person not get Naishkarmyam, will not get Naishkarmyam? That answer he is now giving in the 5th verse. Nahi kaschit shanamapi jatu tishthatya karma krit karyate hyavashah karma sarva prakritir jair gunaihi. Now he gives the hetu. What is the hetu? Before that, interesting. Madhusudan Saraswati gives a connection between the two verses. We just saw the Shankara's connection. Madhusudan Saraswati's connection is very interesting also. He says, Here, karma janya shuddhi abhave. Why will you not get Naishkarmya Siddhi? Because the Shuddhi that must come from karma, uske abhav mein, absence of that Shuddhi. Because of the absence of Chitta Shuddhi that should be born from karma, what has happened? He says, such a person is Bahir Mukhaha. Bahir Mukhaha means what? Can anybody translate it? Meaning of it? Bahir Mukhaha. Who is Bahir Mukhaha? Extrovert. And what is extroversion? In our Vedantic terms, it has a clear meaning. What or who would you call an extrovert? Looking outward means what? Identified with what?
With material world and the outside world.
With material
He's not
world.
able to look inside
Correct.
his own self.
So,
So very body, like identify with the body.
what in particular in the body? Where are your senses directed?
The mind.
Sansar.
Senses. Engaged in the senses. Senses. Your senses are automatically externally directed. We saw it in Katha Upanishad. There is a verse that comes. Paranchi khani vyatarik swayambhu. Swayambhu, senses and sense pleasures, right? By very creation, the direction of the senses is kept outside. So शुद्धि अभावे means what? जिसकी शुद्धि नहीं है, उसका क्या होता है? बहिर्मुखता होती है. That person remains connected to the senses and sense pleasures and is always engaged outside, looking extrovert, what in English you would call, being outside, looking outside, seeking fulfillment outside. He's Bahir Mukhaha. And such a Bahir Mukhaha, what happens? Here he says, the very reason why you will not be able to get to Naishkarmya Siddhi is because by very swabhav, na tishtati akarmakrit. The first na in the line, akarmakrit, tishtati, na tishtati, नहीं बैठ सकता. कौन नहीं बैठ सकता? क्या किए बिना? अकर्मकृत, कुछ कर्म किए बिना नहीं बैठ सकता. Who? Next question. कश्चित, कोई भी. Anybody? No? Anyone? How long? Shanamapi, even for a moment. One cannot sit even for a moment without doing anything. Shanamapi kalam, for a moment, क्षण पर के लिए. जातु, रहता है. कदाचित, कश्चित, तिष्ठति, अकर्मकृत सन, बिना कर्म किए कोई भी रह नहीं सकता. Not even for a moment. When you wake up since the morning, there are two, again, schools of thought. One will say from morning till night, if you observe yourself, what are you? Even if you restrain, like certain yogic practices would say, restrain your organs of action, what is happening to the mind? Their thoughts, their actions. Some people even call, the other school of thought even calls the involuntary processes of the body as actions. So there are two ways of looking at it, doesn't matter whichever. The involuntary processes which even continue while you're in sleep. So while in sleep, the voluntary process may stop, the willful processes stop, but the involuntary processes continue in sleep also. So Bhagwan says here, Karam kiye bina, the Sangati, the connection is Bina karam kiye. Why is it that somebody cannot sit in Gyan? बैठ ही सकते हैं हम तो, somebody will say. If I just don't do anything, I am a peaceful person. Why can I not sit in Gyan if that's a question someone asks? To which Bhagwan is answering, not even for a minute, moment, forget minute, क्षण भर के लिए भी अकर्मकृत नहीं रह सकते, बिना कर्म किए तुम रह नहीं सकते. Why? कार्यते ही अवश्यः कर्म. कार्यते, करते हो. He, indeed, अवश्यः कर्म. Helplessly, अवश्यः. Helplessly. One of these two acharyas have said, aswatantrena, means you don't have any swatantrata in it. It just happens. Avashyaha means that. Swatantrata nahi chalti, you don't have any control over it. Aswatantra eva karma. Who? Sarvaha, all of beings, all the beings, they cannot remain even a moment without doing karma. Helplessly they will do karma without any control. Why? Prakriti jaihi gunaihi. According to their own gunas, born from Prakriti. Prakriti means matter. And Shastra has divided the matter into gunas. You see gunas expressing in everyone, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Those are the gunas that make the material world. That material world, each one according to their gunas will helplessly act based on their gunas. So, all beings will be pushed helplessly from their own gunas to act. Now, what is Arjuna's gunas?
Rajas.
Rajas and?
Rajasic.
And what is his ashram? No, what is his?
Kshatriya.
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 So, what is the Kshatriya composition?
More of Rajas.
And only Rajas? I'm sure.
Sattvic also.
Tamas will also
Sattvic
be-
also. Sattva and Rajas. If it was only Rajas, that is the Vaishya, who have less Sattva, more Rajas, and some component of Tamas. But Kshatriya is very high Rajas and Sattva and very little Tamas. वो ही क्षत्रिय गुण दिखा सकता है. What is the gun of a learner, of a student, of a Brahmin? So, what are called Brahmins? By gunas, not by birth. Who is a Brahmin? Who will get into the inquiry of Brahman is a Brahmin. Who will be taking that inquiry? For that inquiry, what guna do you need?
Sattva.
You need sattva. Supposing you have a very high rajas, can you inquire? No, because rajas will put you into action. So, according to your gunas composition, the matter layers that you have identified with, what is making you an individual today, according to that, helplessly you will be pushed to action. No one can remain without action, even for a moment. Therefore, to say that I will not act is to use your will. And to use your will to withdraw from an action or to not initiate an action, if you are using your will it becomes an action. मैं नहीं करूंगी. जब मैं कहूँ कि मैं नहीं करूंगी, what has it become? That what we are seeing as nahi karna is actually karna. How? If I say मैं नहीं कर रही, मैं नहीं, I don't want, I will not do. If you say I will not do, that I will, there is karma. So no one can remain without doing karma. Helplessly we will do karma. Okay? We'll continue this tomorrow. So far, okay? Anybody is confused with reference to this? Excuse me. Are you clear?
जी दीदी जी.
Okay, so we will.
I think we need to mull on this.
Shastra Vidya, we need to mull on always. That's why varam, you have to keep on it. And when the whole connection also forms, that's why we repeat it also. That connection will stay in the mind. What is a primary message? Primary message for a very simple thing, if you don't want too much reasons and you want a primary message is कर्म करना है क्योंकि आपकी प्रवृत्ति के हिसाब से ही आप वैसे भी कर्म करोगे. So there is nothing called not doing. That not doing is also an action.
So it's good to use simple words like dil se karo. Like, when you say something like that, उसमें बहुत कुछ आ जाता है.
हाँ, correct. That's right. दिल लगा के करो, दिल से करो. That's true. बहुत कुछ आ जाता है. Yes. Good one. Right.
सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषा. गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम्. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु. काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः, पृथ्वी सस्यशालिनी. देशोऽयं शोभरहितः, ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. धन्यवाद दीप्ति जी. धन्यवाद so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Didi, in the samsaric we choose not to take up a
Recording has
karma.
stopped.
Sorry, what
In the in sansaric life, okay, if we choose not to do a karma we don't like, will that also be considered tamasic? Or like, for example, you said, communication, right? Like, you should not, indulge too much in sansar because it kind of, disturbs your gyan root also. So if you limit your association or you say you don't want to do something, will that be considered tamasic?
No, the intention behind is what decides it. If you're just doing it to avoid something, just for the sake because you don't like it, that's different from having reason to avoid it. Because there are certain kind of pravrittis, the more you interact with them, the same thing happens. It's a drain on your energy and on your resources and on your time that you can utilize better. So if you're using to utilize that aspect for the better and preserve your own self for the higher gati, then that's intelligent maneuvering. Because you can't be heedlessly contacting everything in the world. भगवान ने बुद्धि दी क्यों है हमको? To select. And therefore you need Vivek Shakti. What is to be selected?
That was my question. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Yeah. Dhanyavad. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Deepti ji.
Thank you.
Hari Om ji.
Hari Om ji. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
The broadcast.
Thank
of
you so
Facebook
much,
Live
Deepti
has
ji.
stopped.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank you, everyone.